what we gotta watch, what we gotta watch. Paul Match TV. What we gotta watch, what we gotta watch, what we gotta watch. Paul Match TV. What we gotta watch, what we gotta watch, what we gotta watch. Paul Match TV. What we gotta watch, what we gotta watch, what we gotta watch. Paul Match TV. What we gotta watch, what we gotta watch. Yeah, buddy, that's right. Get exposure right now. Holler at the homie Paul Match, man, for Paul Match TV. Hit up Paul Match TV across all social media sites, alright? Who we got next? Got next.
Well, hello there. It's Paul Mash TV time again. I'm Paul Mash, your host, of course. And we're glad that you could join us for yet again another exciting episode. And we'll get to that in just a moment. But before we do, we have ways you can contact us. We've been getting a lot of feedback lately. And as a matter of fact, we just got an email yesterday from a lady who wanted to know exactly how I do this. And I do it by a program called Zoom. That's ZOOM.us. It's a very awesome program. It's kind of like Skype, only it's a lot better. A lot of people think it's a lot better. So if anybody out there wants to try it sometime and have video chats with your friends on it, I recommend it. There is a free version as well as a paid version. But don't worry about the paid version. It's always going to be free. And but I'm sure you'll get the basics of it once you get into it. And you can contact us the usual ways. Just subscribe right here. If you're watching us on YouTube, hit the bell. You'll get all the latest interviews whenever they become available. And you can even reply to the interview in question and let us know what you think. And of course, there's always email. That's paulmashtv, all one word, at gmail.com. And not for fans only. You can also use it if you're a band or solo artist want to be on the show. You can use that same email address. And we'll go from there. And also, if you're on Facebook, go to facebook.com/PaulMatchTV. And like the page, you can even respond to the interviews in question there. And if you miss any of that, don't worry about it. We have a closing credit screen at the end of the show as usual. So feel free to get a pad of paper and a pen handy, and we'll go from there. Right now, we have Zuzanna. She's from Montpellier, France. And a very talented artist in her own right. And we're going to be doing that in just a moment. But before we do, let's have another quick word from Click Jam. Don't go away.
Does anyone know where Lou is? Anyone? Let's jam.
We're fabulous, nobody's doing for the crushed and the broken hearted. We're fabulous, nobody's doing 'cause we can and we just got started. Come on and bang.
Well, hello, everybody. It's interview time again, as promised. And with us from Montpellier, France, we've got Zuzanna. Thanks for joining us, Zuzanna.
Hi. Hello.
Yeah, it's interesting. I don't know if I've ever interviewed anybody in France before or not, but so this is kind of a treat for me, I think, too. Why don't you tell me a little bit about how it began for you in the music business? I mean, I'm sure you started when you were young or whatever, but everybody has their own story, so let's hear your story.
For me, the story was pretty simple. My father was a musician, an amateur musician, really liked blues and rock music. So I grew up listening to tunes like that. And then I entered the conservatory as a child when I was 6 years old, and basically I never left. I was learning how to play My first instrument was violin. Then I switched to flute, and along the side, I was learning how to play piano. And yeah, I just stayed on that path and right up till the end. Et voilà. Here I am today writing songs, and I compose my songs using the piano, but I don't play on stage. I work with a pianist because that allows me to play the flute, which is kind of my first instrument, and I incorporate some of the flute melodies into my songs. Yeah. Is there anything else you would like to know? Because
Well,
it's
I mean, that's a pretty good story, and you're very multi-talented, I guess you could say. So that's pretty good to have. Why don't you tell us about your influences? I mean, I'm sure there are some people that influenced you in your uh, creative songwriting and in musical styles. Why don't you let us know some of them?
Mhm. Yeah. Well, I have a lot of artists that influence me. I think that that I get these influences from wherever I go. I mean, sometimes it's just a concert of a random band playing in the nightclub. You know how it goes. You just hear the tune you like, and you keep playing it in your head, and then you come home and you start working it, and of course not like copying or anything, but it just plays in your head, and then you start putting different phrases in different styles, and there you go, you have a song. But if we talk about artists that are more famous and more recognizable by the name, I would say that pretty big influence was Tori Amos already as a singer, songwriter, piano player. For me, that's a female piano player. That's a big name. Next to her, I would put maybe Eva Cassidy, who technically speaking didn't write songs, but she was very, very talented as a singer and arranger. And she had this fabulous talent that not only she could sing folk songs very beautifully, but she could also sing jazz songs, which is pretty rare for a singer to be able to do both of those in a fantastic, breathtaking way. And she was using her high soprano to interpret beautiful, beautiful songs, which stayed with me. That her music is so distinctive, even though it's all covers. So I would say Eva Cassidy. Then we have another singer who is on the verge of jazz and folk, very famous singer, Johnny Mitchell, obviously an icon, because I really admire her strength and her ability to just say to everybody, hey, sorry, this is the way I want things to be. This is how I feel about music, art, and I just don't want it to be any other way. And you can go with it, or if not, I'm just gonna go somewhere else and do my thing without you. I think that's a strength that's necessary to be in the music business. But at the same time, she's showing us an example of a very strong woman who was able to do that, and still is able to do that. I appreciate that very much. Voilà.
Yeah,
A couple of names among others.
Yeah, those are some pretty good names there. I think you mentioned Tori Amos. Yeah, she's a very talented singer in her own right. So, well, why don't we talk about your music for a second? Do you have any albums, or can you get physical copies? Is it all digital? Maybe you can let me know about that.
So I just released my first EP. I mean, I first released a single, and then I released an EP. It is the first time I'm releasing something on my own, totally as myself. So it's pretty big for me. You can buy that for now. It's only digital. I was just thinking for many reasons that I will go with 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 digital copies. First of all, I wanted to know how it's gonna do, how many people will be interested in seeing that. And then there is an environmental factor as well for me. I wanted to maybe avoid just printing something if I'm not sure what's its future gonna be. So for now, you can find it across all the platforms: Spotify, iTunes, Tidal, Deezer, YouTube. Wherever you go, you can find my music. So the EP is called Secret Trip. There are 4 songs on it, and then there is a single that I released right before that, a month before that, which is called Winter is Coming, as a 5th song you can find online. So the idea is pretty simple. As I'm a singer, piano player, flute player, I just decided to do a couple of songs in a spirit of folk, pop, world music, something that's at the same time delicate and flowy and easy listening, but on the other hand has a little bit of an edge to it. And so I composed my songs simply sitting down and writing them on the piano. And this is how I recorded them as well. There is a simple piano arrangement, then there is what they call in France voix principale, so a lead vocal, and then you have quite a lot of backing vocals and quite a lot of flute tracks, which makes it sound quite dreamy, but still it remains simple and delicate and quite light in its spirit. Yeah, and most of those songs are written in English, but I do write also in my native language, which is Polish. I'm Polish, and I write in Polish. So out of those 5 songs that you can find on Spotify, for example, 1 is written in Polish. It's called Wrzask. The rest, the other 4 are in English.
Oh, okay. Well, and again, speaking of your music, we're getting ready to watch a video from you in just a couple minutes here. Why don't you tell us the name of it, and if there's a story behind it, we'd love to hear it.
So the video is called Winter is Coming, and I'm sure that many of you can associate it with famous TV series which is called The Game of Thrones, which has recently been on. So the funny fact is that I actually wrote it long before I started watching the show, so it has nothing to do with the Game of Thrones. But having said that, I always enjoyed this kind of both fantasy genre in literature or in movies, and film music as a genre. I was always genuinely interested by and very heavily influenced by film music. So when I saw the show for the first time, I started thinking, that's interesting. I could actually incorporate many of these themes in my song, because even though at the start it had nothing to do with the show, with the Game of Thrones, the subjects are not that far away from each other. I mean, my song speaks about time passing and the inevitable effect of the time passing by, leaving us in a completely different state than where we would wish to find ourselves, and the proximity of it, the speed of it, like yesterday, today, tomorrow, how fast it goes, and how sometimes we would like to change this flow of time, how sometimes we would like to reverse it or simply make it go differently, make things go differently. But we can't, because it's time. We can't do anything about it, and we are only humans. This is only that much we can do. So that's what that song is about. Very simply, just the inevitable, unavoidable passage of time, which is being represented in here by the change of seasons, where everything's always changing.
Yeah, okay. Well, that's a good story behind that, and we'll be watching that in just a moment here. I just want to let you know, I think that's about all I can think of for right now, Zuzanna, and we want to appreciate you coming on the show today. And if you have anything new to plug, maybe you can come back for a second time.
All right, fantastic. Well, thank you very much. It was lovely to meet you. It was lovely to speak to you. And I wish you a very nice day, because I think it's morning wherever you are at right now.
Yes, it is.
It's morning. We are in the end of our afternoon here in France, late afternoon.
Okay. Well, we'll go ahead and watch that video right now. Here it is, Winter is Coming by Zuzanna. Don't go away.
Winter is coming, the lights are getting darker. Everything seems to be changing. Winter is near, I can feel it. I hear the wind blowing coldest and memories. Winter is coming so fast, couldn't wait. At last, everything changes. It changes so fast. Winter is near, I don't know what I feel. Everything seems to be different. The wind is so cold and I'm here on my own, staring at magical picture. Winter is coming so fast, couldn't wait. At last, everything changes, change. It changes so fast. Winter is gone and I'm here on my own, looking at flowers blooming. Was it too late? Was it all a big mistake? I followed the steps of the winter, 'cause winter is gone.